of Criminal Investigations for twisting a case he had filed in Nanyuki to appear as if he attempted to rape a woman. The former senator tabled an affidavit from the said lady, confessing that she was being used by her abductors.
You were arrested and charged with the offense of attempted rape on the 30th of January 2021.
Mr. Speaker, I was the complainant. I was the complainant in this case because this was a case of abduction, Mr. Speaker, and I will share the affidavit by Imperial herself, where she's saying that she has reconciled her conscience and she has reflected on the facts and the circumstances relating to this complaint, and she has decided on her own volition to withdraw.
Were DCI officers involved in what you are calling a frame-up? If they were, yes. If they were not, no.
Mr. Speaker, I may want to imagine that they must have been.
Linturi was also faced with questions regarding a forgery case that collapsed in court, as well as the controversy surrounding his university degrees.
It is not true, Mr. Speaker, that I did any forgeries. And in fact, this was also a situation where the DCI was ending the complainant, the person is referring to take away my investment.
The nominee for Education docket, Ezekiel Machogu, also appeared before the parliamentary committee. Machogu promised to make sure the cost of competence-based curriculum is affordable.
Education, according to Article 53(1)(b), is supposed to be free and compulsory, basic, that is primary and secondary.
The vetting process of cabinet secretaries is set to end on Saturday. Geshoke Washira, Prime Edition.
Now, moving on, Communications and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary nominee Eliud Owalo has pledged to revitalize the operations of the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation to put it at par with other peers in the world. Speaking when he appeared before the National Assembly Committee on Appointments, Owalo said among his intervention plans include renaming Kenya Broadcasting Corporation to Voice of Kenya, re-engineering the content of KBC, and revitalize the infrastructure of KBC to match global best practices. Ben Chumba now reports.
Do hereby swear to testify on all matters in question and tell this committee the truth.
When he appeared before the vetting committee on his suitability to hold the office as the Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, Eliud Owalo said he had an elaborate turnaround strategy for the state broadcaster, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
KBC is a depository of the history of this country, and it is the mother institution that has given birth to all other media houses. What is it that you are likely to do?
I intend to revitalize the operations of KBC, first of all, by rebranding it. I don't quite understand the reason that informed, first of all, the change of name from the Voice of Kenya to the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, Mr. Chairman. You know, there are certain very simple, basic things you can do and just change, turn over an organization.
Owalo, who boasts over 22-year experience in consultancy within the human resource management field, hinted at renaming Kenya Broadcasting Corporation to Voice of Kenya.
Just by changing the name of KBC to and reverting it back, for example, I'm just giving a hypothetical example, to its hitherto Voice of Kenya, that stands KBC in good stead to be seen as a market leader in that sector. Simple things. You just rebrand it.
If cleared to hold office, Owalo told the vetting committee of his plans to re-engineer the content and infrastructure of the national broadcaster to ensure it gets effective positioning in the market.
Those are some of the interventions, and I promise, without fear of contradiction, Mr. Chairman, that the issue of KBC will not just be one of my thematic areas or key result areas of intervention, but I would also want to be held accountable by virtue of having a very clear performance indicator as far as turning KBC is concerned.
Samburu West Member of Parliament Naisula Lesuda was of the view the nominee, if cleared, should relook at the staff motivation, promotion and salaries for employees at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
Having worked at KBC, I don't think that rebranding is the main problem. It has been rebranded and rebranded and rebranded before. I don't think that is the main challenge. You might have to relook at it. But I want to also hear about the staff. You have to look at their motivation when you look at promotions, their salaries, just so that KBC is not only an incubator of good talent and then they move to the private media houses, but you should actually aim to retain the great talent that is at KBC.
Asked on his commitment to media freedom, Owalo said he'll champion for a free press, stating that media has the ability to self-regulate.
I would rather the media fraternity regulates itself while we create that enabling environment. But if I'm successful and I assume office, I'll of course initiate constant, regular consultations with stakeholders in that industry.
Owalo further pledged to invest in ICT infrastructure for affordable internet connectivity across every part of the country and oversee the implementation of the Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act and Data Protection Act.
So I believe from a legal, regulatory and proper policy perspective, we have got all that we require to ensure that this space is adequately regulated, but fundamentally without curtailing the freedoms of expression.
With respect to digitization of government services, he envisaged to create a critical mass of digital jobs with a view to bring the unemployed youth who are qualified but lack opportunities into the job market. Owalo further promised to look into claims that government advertising agency is used as a weapon to punish media houses performing watchdog functions against the state.
I believe in a participatory approach to leadership, Mr. Chairman. Then we can re-engineer everything in that space at that point in time based on matters arising therefrom or incidental thereto.
Ben Chumba, Easy Friday.
Now moving on, 20 inmates at Nyahururu GK prison have been diagnosed with tuberculosis, with one of them testing positive for the drug-resistant strain. The 20 were identified from 700 inmates who were screened, with health officials at the county warning the numbers could go up after 200 more samples were picked for further screening. Take a look.
Laikipia County TB Program Coordinator Dr. Muridhi Wanjiku says the exercise was conducted by National TB Control Unit in collaboration with health officials from Nyahururu County and Referral Hospital after reports emerged that inmates were suffering from severe coughs.
Among the patients we have notified, the 15, 13 of them are what we call bacteriologically confirmed, meaning they are infectious. There is no way, living in such a dimly lit, poorly ventilated, congested environment, that these people will not infect the others.
Officials attributing the outbreak to congestion at the prison.
This facility, based on its population and TB prevalence, is supposed to notify at least 6 patients per year. But as we speak, up to today, it has notified over 333% more.
Hata wale wamekuwa identified na wako pamoja na wale wengine bado wanarudishwa kule kwa zile wards zao, na hiyo tunaona inaweza kuleta shida kwa wengine.
Area Governor Joshua Irungu, who was present at the screening, said his administration has taken up the matter, pledging to create an isolation ward for the affected.
In other news, Meru County Majority Leader Evans Mawira has appeared before the Directorate of Criminal Investigation Meru officers to shed light on Wednesday's stoning of Governor Kawira Mwangaza's motorcade. Mawira has denied any involvement in the incident. The ward representative and his colleagues turned their backs on the first-term governor when she convened a special sitting of the Meru County Assembly.
A leadership row is unfolding in Meru County. The executive and the county assembly are reading from different scripts, and there appears to be more than meets the eye. From being walked out on to having her motorcade pelted with stones, Governor Kawira Mwangaza appears to be walking on a tightrope just 2 months into her reign at the helm of the Meru County government. But the pelting of her motorcade is now the subject of investigations, with Majority Leader Evans Mawira being among those invited to shed more light on the ensuing chaos.
Gari za waheshimiwa ziliumizwa hiyo siku na wale goons alikuja nao wenye walikuwa wanatupa mawe wakiwa nje ya bunge yetu. Kwa hivyo kama yeye ana claim that mimi ndiye nilipiga gari yake mawe, nataka atoe ushahidi tupelekane kotini, na pia sisi tunaenda kuandikisha statement zetu kama waheshimiwa wote ambao gari zao ziliumizwa.
The relationship between the executive and the assembly has been frosty from day one, even as the ward representatives vow to stand together against the county boss.
Na sisi tukasema ya kuwa tutaandamana zizi zote, tukuje tusikie ni nini mkubwa yetu ya mbunge anaambiwa. Baadaye wakasema mimi nikiwa speaker niende huko ndani peke yangu, nikakataa. Nikasema hii sio maneno ya mtu mmoja, hii ni maneno ya mbunge. Tumeingia huko na my brother Rogers, tukaingia na Mheshimiwa Mwenda leader of minority, Jim the whip of the majority, and Evans the leader of majority. Na vile ametuelezea ni kama hakuna kesi iko wapi, iko hapo.
Sisi hakuna pesa tumeitisha governor. Hakuna pesa hata mtu mmoja ameitisha governor, hiyo inasemekana tumeitisha 5 million. Sisi tuko tayari kufanya kazi na tumetosheka na mishahara yetu. Lakini kile tunapigania ni Ward Fund. Other governors, Governor Munya, Governor Great walipeana Ward Fund.
For Easy Friday, I'm Zainab Said.
All right, and with that, it's time for us to take our first commercial break, but we will be back shortly. Don't go too far. This is Easy Friday on KBC Channel 1.
Kupata Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili, dial star 811 star 817 hash. Mwenyezi Mungu ni mwamba wangu, ngome yangu na mkombozi wangu. Mungu wangu, mwamba wangu ninayemkimbilia ninapohitaji kuwa salama. Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili. Zaburi 18 mstari wa pili, dial star 811 star 817 hash. Star 811 star 817 hash.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
His muscle shut nayo. Huku. Wacha tu.
For your information, I do not have any money on me. Niko tu hivyo only. And the money I have reinvested.
Nakono tu.
Mashambiki.
The world's biggest sporting event is here with us. The FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. KBC Television will air live 28 selected matches, while radio will beam live all the 64 matches. We would like to bring to the attention of the public that KBC is the only station that has exclusive 2022 FIFA World Cup free-to-air FTA broadcast rights for both TV and radio in the Kenya territory, and no other media outlet. Therefore, catch all the FIFA World Cup action live and exclusive on KBC TV and radio. KBC is indeed your true sports partner.
Gonna be sticking around every tomorrow.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha, Arora, and the sign language interpreter is Susan Thuku. Now, the current high level of voter apathy among the youth is hurting the growth of democracy and risks denying the country vital services through effective leadership. Stakeholders in a youth mentorship program say most youths don't trust political structures and want actors to mobilize young people to actively participate in political processes.
Data from the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission shows the number of young voters registered for Kenya's August election dropped since the last polls 5 years ago, pointing to apathy among a youth disenchanted by economic hardship and widespread corruption. However, startups like Badiliko, a brainchild of a youth, have demystified the phenomenon by creating a gamification of politics that will be the premier platform that unites youths and leaders in Kenya.
We have noticed that youth are quite alienated in the leadership, governance and ethics practice in the country. And we are seeking a technology that cures this alienation.
Badiliko, which is a transformation innovation driven by innovative technology, aims at ensuring young people are part of the development in the society.
Our product is an immersive technology that seeks to bridge the information gap between youth and decision makers through engaging through the platform. Often the youth are going to want to be more involved in politics because, as you said, it's a mixed reality platform, takes some elements from real life and also it takes some elements from fiction, mashes them up together to provide civic education in a very palatable and in a fun way.
The youth have further been urged to build innovative solutions around communities for great change. Jacqueline Masharia for Prime Edition.
Now, at least 20 students from Maseno and Kibabii universities are set to benefit from a mentorship program courtesy of the International Association of Women in Radio and Television. The program's coordinators say it is geared towards building the capacity of upcoming female journalists by imparting in them the knowledge to cope with the evolving journalism profession. Wycliffe Okech with more details.
The Female Journalists Mentorship Program, launched in 2018, has incorporated 114 students from at least 6 public universities in the country, with 20 more set to join in this year. The program seeks to orient upcoming female journalists to the tenets of the journalism field.
We decided to put together this project with women in the media who are seasoned, from various media houses in our country, who are willing to mentor these girls, who are willing to lead them, who are willing to advise them and guide them.
When we did a study in 2014, we established that a number of journalists need mentorship, they need to be held together. That in addition to the academic classes they attend, they also need to be helped to appreciate, to grow in the industry.
The mentorship is not just about even doing the story itself. It's about career progression. It's about how to become a professional and how to become powerful, how to progress in the career, and also character and integrity.
According to the organizers, female journalists find it hard to maneuver the challenges of the profession compared to their male counterparts. Thus, the program will work to equip them better.
Women who go into the media, most of the time they run away. Or when they aspire for different softer sports, in quotes, such as maybe PR or such kind of whatever. They do not aspire to be straight on journalism because they feel that journalism is rather rough.
And obviously there are obstacles for women in the newsroom. That is one of the reasons this program exists, as Judy mentioned. And that is still a very unfortunate aspect of being a female journalist in 2022.
Granis Nyangweso, alumni of the program, encourages the new entrants to keep their journalism dream alive.
IWAT has been a stepping stone for me in terms of my career in journalism, which has been a great win for me personally, because I have been able to get exposed to writers, professional media people in the industry that I never thought I would get to reach to.
The 20 students targeted for the 5th cohort are drawn from Maseno and Kibabii universities. For Easy Friday, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Now, wealth as a subject has always provided fodder for Kenyans on the World Wide Web. This week, cabinet nominees have been answering questions about net worth, igniting a serious debate about the so-called lanes and bank balances. So, what is your net worth?
Who's worth what? Are you worthy? The puzzling question I am trying to ask is, what is your worth? But is it the questions or the answers that are puzzling? Well, I'll let the savage netizens be the judge of that.
In the words of the American pop artist Jay-Z, you are all on the gram holding money to your ear. There is a disconnect. We don't call that money over here. They say money is the root of all evil, but in the 254, we say money is the root of all wealth. So, what is your net worth? Oletea tweeted, yours truly declaring his net worth before the panel.
I have a 100 bob in my pocket. Nataka nikunywa 40 shillings, 60 shillings ni fair.
Ricky, me and my friends declaring our net worth.
Kengara 00, Hamisi 00, Mwema 00, Nyakundi 00, Nyamwamu 00.
Real gish, me when the vetting committee asks me about my net worth.
Account yangu imebaki tu na 50 bob.
Mr. Wright started a thread asking, what is your current net worth? Questioning emoji. The responses were absolute rib crackers. Kim John, mbona unauliza? Harman tweeted, hii net yangu naona kama ni 350 ikienda sana. Adi Chief asked, shamba ya mzazi iko inclusive? Double R, 500 shillings, fuliza mzee. Tyler, niko na mayai crate na Indomie. For Sanders, it is 50 bob wrapped in a rubber band. My net worth if I combine all my investments and properties. It was all about multitasking, and eyes were also firmly glued on the general's homecoming. After tweefing for close to 4 years, Miguna Squared finally had his red alerts lifted. Dr. Miguna tweeted that his return was historic and fantastic while thanking Kenya, and he also shared his new phone number on the tweet. Yes, shared his phone number online. You can definitely guess how that will go down. Champion asked, can I reverse call you? Laughing emoji. Derek tweeted, iko na fuliza ama naeza kuwekea chai. Len Charua 1, niweke credo ya mbao ama iko na mkopo.
Say what?
Jeff, the number itself is a scam. Haifanyi crying emoji. Chepchumba, nipe permission ni ku-add group yangu ya birthday sa. Somebody switch Chepchumba's mic off, cause surely whatever priorities Gen Zs have is of absolute questionable nature. Well, that's it for us. Catch you next week on Savage Netizens. For Easy Friday, I am Teresa Mutai.
Absolute gem there. That is Teresa Mutai. Honestly, I really enjoy this feature every Friday right here on Easy Friday. Moving on. When a structure is constructed for the purposes of using it as a place of worship, an elaborate ceremony is performed to dedicate the facility to God. Different religions do this differently. And in My Culture tonight, Jacqueline Wambiro tells us how the Catholic Church goes about this rite of dedication.
When the Catholics put up a new church building, it is befitting that it be dedicated to God through a solemn rite.
Wamezoea kwamba kanisa limejengwa, basi wanafungua wanaanza. Lakini rasmi kutokana kwamba altare, mahali ambapo ibada inatolewa ni patakatifu. Na kwa hivyo inafaa kwamba iweze kupakwa mafuta matakatifu, ndio imefanyika hapa.
In accordance with the ancient custom of the church, it is the responsibility of the bishop in whose diocese the new worship facility falls to spearhead the dedication ritual.
Watumishi tunaweza kusema wale ambao wanaenda kuandaa vipaji, mkate na divai, anaweza kuwa au mwalimu katekista, ama pengine ni mmoja wa hudumu, anaweza kuwa pengine sister ama brother, lakini kwenye ibada takatifu ni padre na wasaidizi wake. Wasaidizi wake anaweza kuwa pengine ni shemasi, deacon ama watumishi wa altare. Lakini katika ibada yenyewe ni padre na padre wenzake, ama askofu na mapadre wenzake, ama na shemasi.
First, congregants hold a procession to the church building to be dedicated, praying and singing. From this stage, a series of rituals unfold. At the entrance into a new church structure, the rite of opening the doors is performed. The handing over of the project by the constructors to the bishop, as well as the sprinkling of the facility with holy water, including the congregants who in essence are the spiritual temple, then the walls of the church, and finally the altar.
Maji ambayo tumenyunyuzia kuta zetu na Wakristo, maji ambayo yanatukumbusha ubatizo wetu, kwamba sisi tulikufa na tukafuka na Kristo.
The liturgy of the Holy Word then takes place, where 3 readings are used for the rite of the dedication of the church building. After the readings, the bishop delivers the homily. Prayer of dedication and the anointing of the church and the altar takes precedence. The relics of a martyr are deposited after the singing of the Litany of the Saints to signify that the sacrifice of the members has its source in the sacrifice of the head.
Mavazi ama chochote kile ambacho kinaweza kupatikana cha huyu mtakatifu yoyote ambaye ametangazwa kuwa mtakatifu, relic, inaitwa relic ama relique, inawekwa pale altareni. Hapa imewekwa relique ya mtakatifu ambaye amekuwa miaka hivi karibuni. Francisco wa Assisi alikuwa miaka mingi iliyopita, kwa hivyo hata kupata kile ambacho kinaweza kuwa kipo pengine ni ngumu, lakini huyu mtakatifu ambaye amewekwa leo ni mtakatifu George Preka. Kipande cha vazi lake, mambo aliyotumia, pengine kalamu, inategemea ni nini ambacho kipo ambacho aligusa mwenyewe, ama pengine wengine wanaweka hata mfupa kwa wale ambao pengine walipatikana wakiwa na hali ya kuuawa.
When relics of a martyr are not available, relics of another saint may be deposited at the altar. The celebration of the Eucharist is the most important rite for the dedication of a church. In accordance with the dedication of the church, a special prayer of dedication is also said as a sign of the intention to dedicate the church to the Lord for all times and a petition for his blessing. The rites of anointing, incensing, covering and lighting the altar then take place. Anointing of the altar and the walls of the church, including anointing the chrism, as well as placing of relics on the altar take place.
Bani kutabarukiwa, maana yake ni kupakwa mafuta matakatifu na baba askofu amepaka, ili sehemu hiyo na ile sala ambayo alitoa kabla ya kupaka hayo mafuta ni kusema kwamba hii eneo altare limewekwa wakfu ama limetakatifuzwa kwa ajili ya kutolea Mungu sadaka. Altare peke yake ndio inapakwa mafuta, maana yake kutabarukiwa.
Mafuta ambayo imetumika ni yale mafuta ambayo tunayatumia wakati ambapo tunabatiza Wakristo wetu, wakati ambapo tunapewa sakramenti ya kipaimara, na vile vile ni mafuta ambayo tunatumia, mafuta ya matakatifu, wakati ambapo tunapata daraja ya upadri.
In keeping with liturgical tradition, there are 12 anointing procedures, or where it is more convenient, 4, that is incense, covering of the altar, lighting of the altar, which is followed by the lighting of the church.
Kaweza kubariki sehemu 12 kwenye kuta ya parokia, na hizo sehemu 12 zimeandikwa majina ya mitume wale 12. Debri ya mitume hao 12 wanaashiria kwamba zile kabila 12 za Waisraeli.
This reminds that Christ is a light to enlighten the nations. The celebration of Mass with the proper preface and prayer for a dedication must never be omitted. After the altar has been prepared, the bishop celebrates the Eucharist because the celebration of the Eucharist is the closest in harmony with the rite of the dedication of a church. The rite of sprinkling the church walls with holy water by the bishop or by the priest assigned the role by the bishop then take place.
Kwa na moshi ambao tulikuwa tunafukia kanisa, moshi ambao ulikuwa unatoka kwenye chungu au ubani, na tumeweza kuzunguka kanisa mzima, na hiyo inaashiria kwamba sala zetu, wakati ambao tuna sala zetu, maombi yetu ambayo tunapeleka kwa Mungu yanapaa kama moshi wa ubani.
Tuko na furaha sana kuja kubarikiwa parish, na hatujaona kitu kama hicho. Tumeona altari ikibarikiwa, walls zikibarikiwa, na sana ile imetufurahisha ni hiyo nyungu ambayo imewekwa moshi, na hiyo moshi yote ikajaa kwa kanisa, tukaona kama Holy Spirit ameshuka.
After the rite of blessing, a chalice and paten take place here. The intention to devote this vessel entirely to the celebration of the Eucharist is expressed in the presence of the community through a special blessing by a priest.
Na sasa tunaweza kusema sisi Wakristo na mapadri hapa kanisa hili ya Mtakatifu Francisco wa Assisi tumekuwa na hekalu na kanisa kamili ambalo limetabarikiwa siku ya leo.
Reporting for My Culture, I'm Jackie Wambiru.
Aspect they mentioned here, which is very important, the parents, the families of children or individuals with disability being involved.
It is our hope that your government will lead in inclusion of persons with disability, as cited in UDA's Disability Charter developed during the campaign period.
Differently abled, differently.
Right now, quickly.
Pick up your phone, Biggie. No one tells me what to do.
Who's hit? Hey!
Talking to your mother here is not the solution.
So I know my time. 4 hours, Biggie. Thank you for the cup of tea, by the way.
Kuna shida.
So why will he respond to your WhatsApp messages and not our calls?
Who's this?
Najihusisha na uchawi.
But there was no way to prove it.
Jabali anaendelea aje?
Jabali atataki stori zako.
Ndamuongelesha. Twende ndani.
Saa zingine uko caring hivi na loving hivi. Ni venye tu saa zingine unamwa kwa kichwa ngumu.
You're reading a very perfect moment. What is it with African men?
Anaitwa Mama Jabali.
Baba Jenny, you are a real gentleman. Hey, Arora.
Mwana na tauro nituthie nagingo kuira igandoko na kiodo.
I don't like putting my nose where it doesn't belong, but I like and respect Mama Jen.
Don't put. What's up?
Baba Jen alikuwa anakuja huku.
You can't cancel.
A lovely wife like Mama Felix and a beautiful house like this.
Kama nina nyumba kai siwezi toka huku.
Well, I hope that you've had an easy Friday. Time to take a look at today's business news. My name is Wairimu Jenga. Now, internal wrangles within the leadership of the tea sector are hampering the implementation of tea reforms in the tea subsector. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says that those looking to lead the sector through the Kenya Tea Development Authority out to settle their grievances without compromising the reform agenda of the sector. Alan Oko has more details.
The tea subsector provides a source of livelihoods directly to 750,000 farmers, 90% of whom are smallholder tea growers that also support 7 million Kenyans indirectly. The country has been looking at ways to improve productivity, which has waned over the years. Nevertheless, the tea reform agenda is still facing leadership headwinds.
We know also there are many court cases, and we want to appeal to the former directors to be magnanimous to the Kenyan farmer. Why do you want to take the farmer through endless court battles because of leadership? Why don't you just wait for this team to complete its term, and then you'll have an opportunity to go back to the farmers and ask to be given a second chance?
Speaking at the flagging off of the second consignment of fertilizer to smallholder tea growers through the government fertilizer subsidy program, Gachagua said the industry has been experiencing more challenges which threaten its stability and sustainability, and is proposing radical changes.
I want to challenge the management of KTDA to very urgently work out on a program on how to increase productivity in orthodox tea, which has better earnings for our farmers.
KTD is focused on improving the earnings of our farmers through value addition and diversification. We are increasing our capacity on orthodox production from current 11 lines, and we intend to increase within the next 1 year.
This year's projected export earnings from the tea sector are 150 billion shillings as the country looks for new markets. The performance is driven by the government's push for more production and rides on the strides made on last-mile fertilizer distribution to farmers.
Our new foreign policy, we have a paradigm shift in our approach to foreign policy. The ambassadors and high commissioners will be appointed by the Ruto administration will have an MOU with us that 70% of their work in the respective missions across the world is to look for new markets. Of course, for KTDA, we don't have a challenge because you have a very good structure, the factory system. This fertilizer, the nearby counties, they should be there by today. But for the other crops, where we don't have a structure similar to KTDA, and we have fertilizer that has been subsidized by government, will be partnering with the county governments.
Farmers decided on a minimum reserve price to cushion them against the fluctuation of prices from an all-time low of $1.89 per kilogram. To date, the decision has resulted in improved prices to an average of $2.64 per kilogram in October 2022. Even as the government fertilizer program is set to remain in place for the next 5 years.
And this is where the government says it wants to add value to the Kenyan tea, even for exports. Alan Oko, Easy Friday.
Now, full digitization of government records and reduction of internet services are at the top of my agenda. ICT Cabinet Secretary Designate Eliud Owalo has told Parliament that he will work with telecoms to lower the cost of financial transactions. Appearing before the committee on appointment, Owalo has also said that he will deepen investment in the ICT infrastructure to achieve 100% network coverage in the country.
Kenya's
We apologize for that technical hiccup. The story will be coming to you later on. But first, let's take a look at what the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary nominee said, and that is Mithika Linturi, says he will accelerate the rollout of genetically modified organisms in the country. Linturi has defended the Cabinet's move to lift the ban on GMOs, saying there is no official research that shows that they are harmful to humans and the environment. The CS nominee has further said he will deepen the use of the warehouse receipt system to help farmers access cheap credit and storage facilities.
Last month, the Cabinet approved the cultivation and import of genetically modified organisms, lifting the ban that was imposed by the government in 2011. The decision has generated mixed reactions in the public domain. Appearing before the Parliamentary Committee on Appointments, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary nominee Mithika Linturi has said he will work with all relevant institutions to hasten the adoption of GMO crops in Kenya. Linturi said the only way to deal with the food crisis facing the country is through the adoption of latest technology and mass irrigation systems. The CS nominee has further said he will introduce a countrywide farmers database to streamline the sector and ensure efficient disbursement of subsidies.
We also may have to go an extra mile to educate our farmers on what best crop grows where. And with that kind of data, then we will be able to maximize on productivity and avail information to our farmers so that you do not plant barley in an area that requires you to plant rice.
The committee also quizzed the CS on what he plans to do to boost struggling subsectors like dairy, livestock and aquaculture.
Farming in coconut, in cashew nut, in Bixa at the coast has not been given the due attention that it is supposed to have. And areas like coast have not been helping in growing the GDP in this country. And yet there's high potential in those areas.
Linturi says his office will bank on building synergies with the county governments in the adoption of a warehouse receipt system, helping farmers access proper storage facilities and use their products as collateral. Parliament approved the Warehouse Receipt System Act, providing a legal framework for its development and governance.
What are your plans to ensure that farming becomes profitable and that the farmers are assured of predictable income, so that you can capture these young people who are unemployed?
Many of them are afraid of that, and many of them, because of failure for a guaranteed way of trying to assess what incomes or what you can be able to predictably be able to assess from a crop have made it very difficult for many of our children to engage in it.
Now, full digitization of government records and the reduction of internet services are at the top of my agenda. ICT Cabinet Secretary designate Eliud Owalo has told Parliament that he will work with telecoms to lower the cost of financial transactions. Now, appearing before the Committee on Appointments, Owalo has also said that he will deepen investment in the ICT infrastructure to achieve 100% network coverage in the country.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again. Don't need.
Inasemekana hapo nyuma kulikuwa na issue baina ya wewe na deputy governor kwa sababu ya contracts. Je, ni kweli?
Unajua watu wengi wanapokwenda kutafuta samaki kule baharini huwa wanatumia mishipi. Lakini sisi tunaingia ndani ya maji.
But you have to let me know.
huyu anadhulumu wanyonge.
Yani hapo ndio umegonga ndipo. Hapo ndio umegonga ndipo.
Mimi ninavyohisi huyu kijana alipatwa na wasiwasi na uoga akaamua kukimbia. Na mpaka sasa sijui yuko wapi. Hapa niko peke yangu kama ulimi.
Kaka. Lakini yule mjomba amezuia sana. Kwa nini auze nyumba yangu bila ruhusa yangu kwanza? Alafu yopenda sana kumuona yule mama, sijui kwa sababu yuko peke yake ama ni vipi.
Well, we apologize again for that technical hitch. That story now is ready. Now, full digitization of government records and the reduction of internet services are at the top of my agenda. ICT Cabinet Secretary designate Eliud Owalo has told Parliament that he will work with the telecoms to lower the cost of financial transactions. Appearing before the Committee on Appointment, Owalo has also said that he will deepen investment in the ICT infrastructure to achieve 100% network coverage in the country.
Those questions have brought to the fore very pertinent issues which I want.
The CS nominee says his first order of business, if approved, will be to enhance the ICT infrastructure nationwide through the rollout of a 100,000 kilometer fiber optic network and universal access to the internet at an affordable rate.
Ensure that through the digital superhighway, we have got reliable and stable and extensive ICT infrastructure all over the country. And then once we have done that, we come in to see ways and means of lowering the cost of internet so that we have got access to internet all over the country, Mr. Chairman.
Third quarter data from the Communications Authority of Kenya shows fourth generation or 4G network coverage in Kenya currently stands at 94%. Owalo says the expansion of internet connectivity will boost the creative sector, expand the digital and gig economy, and equip the youth with relevant ICT skills that suit the market needs.
We will actually leverage on the Universal Service Fund, so that we utilize the resources available within that basket to extend the ICT infrastructure to those places so that we have got some equity and equitability in the provision of ICT infrastructure, Mr. Chairman.
Owalo noted that digital inclusion can only be harnessed through concerted efforts of policymakers, internet service providers, and other key players in the sector.
We also need to understand, Mr. Chairman, that the rate of change of legislation or legislative reforms or policy and regulatory reforms is slower than the rate of innovation. So if innovation is ahead of legislation or policy or regulatory framework, then we will definitely introduce changes or propose changes to the existing policy, legal and regulatory frameworks so that it responds to the needs of the market.
On cybercrime and bullying, the CS designate says he will work with the Communications Authority of Kenya and other security operators to secure the internet sphere. The growth of the Kenyan ICT sector has made the country a cybercrime hotspot. Last year, the credit reporting agency TransUnion said that Kenyan banks are losing over 12 billion shillings every year to fraudsters through identity theft and wire fraud. And that's why we put a cap on tonight's business news. My name is Wairimu Jenga. Have a good night and see you next week for more business news.
The legends and familiar chants will grace KBC once again. Don't miss.
Inasemekana hapo nyuma kulikuwa na issue baina ya wewe na deputy governor kwa sababu ya contracts. Je, ni kweli?
Unajua watu wengi wanapokwenda kutafuta samaki kule baharini huwa wanatumia mishipi. lakini sisi tunaingia ndani ya maji.
But you have to let me know. Huyu anadhulumu wanyonge. Yaani hapo ndio umegonga ndipo. Hapo ndio umegonga ndipo.
Mimi ninavyohisi huyu kijana alipatwa na wasiwasi na uoga akaamua kukimbia. Na mpaka sasa sijui yuko wapi. Hapa niko peke yangu kama ulimi.
Kakangu. Lakini yule mjomba amezuia sana. Kwa nini auze nyumba yangu bila ruhusa yangu kwanza? Alafu yapenda sana kumuona yule mama. Sijui kwa sababu yuko peke yake ama ni vipi.
Right, and taking a look at the top stories tonight when it comes to sports. Now, Youth Affairs, Sports and Art Cabinet Secretary nominee Ababu Namwamba says if approved, he will move with speed to clean up the mess in the sports in the country. Now, he said he will work closely with the World Football Federation, FIFA, to ensure the ban on Kenyan football is lifted within his 100 days in the office. Kenya was suspended indefinitely from international football by FIFA after the government disbanded Football Kenya Federation due to alleged misappropriation of funds. Namwamba, who was the fourth candidate of the day to appear before the National Assembly Committee on Nominations, said the youth need to be given hope by putting in place policies and measures that can enable them to have a dignified existence. He said he will also address the issue of doping, which is threatening to tarnish the image of Kenya. Namwamba, who served in the same ministry during Kibaki's regime in 2012, said he will work tirelessly to ensure that bans against badminton and swimming federations are lifted.
Federation is banned. The swimming federation is banned. So the whole arena of sports is in total chaos. Kenya is in a state of a doping crisis. This year alone, there have been no less than 30 cases of doping, which is threatening to shatter the very fine, glittering image of Kenya as a fine state sporting nation.
Now, doping and age cheating headlined the opening day of the Athletics Kenya Central Region Coaches Seminar, which began today at Ruringu Sports Ground in Nyeri County. With a rising number of doping cases in Kenya, hitting a high of more than 20 athletes being sanctioned in the year 2022, the Federation is holding seminars afresh to train coaches on the consequences of the use of banned substances.
On doping across the country, with the Central Region taking precedence following the rising number of doping cases among Kenyan athletes. The first seminar was held today in the Central Region.
We have agreed that we have seminars which would bring the coaches together all over the country, actually, and this is the first one or the type, so that we highlight is some of the shortcomings we are seeing happening and coming up within the world of athletics in the country.
More than 30 coaches who attended the seminar were taken through the anti-doping regulations, as they were also challenged to focus on athlete nurturing and development.
Whether it is issues on anti-doping, the role that a coach needs to play, whether it's about new systems of coaching, whether it's about team composition, whether it's about the development of juniors as athletes, particularly on this region, we expect the whole business to have some impact in terms of athletic development, in terms of athletic protection, athletes protection, and so on.
Mark Kangogo, Philemon Kacharan, Maras Kipserem, Betty Lempas, and Diana Kipyoke are among the latest Kenyan athletes to be sanctioned for use of banned substances. Athletics Kenya is also considering taking extra stern measures on athletes who will be found positive for use of banned substances.
Any athlete who has been caught doping or who entertains doping will not be entertained by Athletics Kenya. And therefore today we are here to tell the coaches to take this message to the athletes.
Meanwhile, Athletics Kenya said that starting November this year, all coaches must be registered by the sports registrar, failure to which they and their athletes may miss out on a ticket to represent Kenya at international competitions.
Now, Strathmore University ladies continued their unbeaten run after sinking USIU ladies 2-1 in the Women's Hockey Premier League. This was Strathmore's first match of the second leg, and they topped the league table with 21 points, while USIU lies fourth with 8 points. Kipsang Tamnai and Grace Bure were on target for the visitors, while Perez Akinyi scored the consolation for the hosts. Strathmore University men were held to a goalless draw by United States International University in their return leg of the Men's Premier League staged at City Park, Nairobi. The results saw Strathmore and USIU maintain their 4th and 8th place on the 10-team log with 17 and 14 points respectively. Earlier on in the Super League matches, Multimedia University ladies suffered a 3-0 loss to the University of Nairobi ladies, while KCA University fished 7 goals from the Technical University of Kenya men's team. The match ended 7-4. Right, now Poland's soccer team will be appearing for the 9th time in this year's World Cup finals to be held in Qatar. The team will be aiming to go past the 3rd place position they attained in 1982, which is their best ever. Qatar 2022 finals will be held from the 20th of November to the 18th of December, and will be televised live on KBC Channel 1.
You know what it is.
The Polish team, currently ranked 26th, qualified for the finals after beating Sweden 2-0 at Silesen. In the 2018 edition, the team finished 4th in the Group H behind Colombia, Japan and Senegal after losing 2 matches and winning only 1.
In by Kuzawa and thumped home by Jan Bednarek. And Poland have reason to smile.
The team boasts of great players such as their skipper Robert Lewandowski, who plays for Barcelona, Juventus custodian Wojciech Szczesny, Napoli midfielder Piotr Zielinski, and Aston Villa's Matthew Cash. Some of the famous players to ever represent the team include former Liverpool goalkeeper Jerzy Dudek, Kazimierz Boniek, and Bolso Lato. They are in Group C alongside Argentina, Mexico.
All right, of course, and now with that, it's time for us to close the first leg of Easy Friday, and we'll be taking it to the other part on Spotlight, where we'll be speaking to Angel, who is the Afrima Award nominee. Remember, she has been nominated for this year's Best Dancer of the Year in the African category. She's from Tanzania. She'll be showing us her moves and telling us about her journey in the dance industry in just a short while, so don't go too far. We'll be crossing over on the other side. Also, Cole Jacks on the decks. With me, we've got Angel. Hello. Karibu sana. How does it feel to be in Kenya, to be performing, to be dancing, to be hosting dance classes? But before that, wait. Congratulations on your nomination. You have been nominated for Afrima Best African Dancer Award.
Yes.
How does it feel?
Great.
Feels great?
Yes.
Is there something that, is this something that you ever thought will happen?
This is actually the second time I've been nominated on Afrima.
Really?
Yeah, I was nominated last year.
Okay.
So I didn't expect to be among those people in the same category. They're so amazing, talented dancers. I'm so grateful.
And so are you, girl. You've been
so
like
much.
roaming the world. You know, I've seen her videos with Zuchu. You're always dancing with her. You're always performing with her. You're always on tour with her. You
Yeah.
were in London a few, I think, months ago. And how was that experience for you?
Actually, the experience was nice. I didn't expect.
Yes.
We did a great show. Actually, kulikuwa kuna watu wengi pia, so it was so amazing. I loved everything about
You
London.
loved everything about London.
Yes.
And you are collaborating with like artists from London. You are collaborating with dancers from London. I watched a few of your videos. And like, it's just amazing to see how dancers have come together and become a big community. I mean, you're friends with a lot of dancers here, you know, Ioma, Dance General. You have like a crew here as well. Do you have dancer friends all over the world?
I think so. Because every time we're going on tour, Zuchi will ask me, we need extra dancers, and I'll make sure I get someone whenever I go.
Yeah. Do you choreograph for Zuchu as well?
Yeah, I'm an official choreographer. Like, when she started singing officially, I was there.
Since then?
Yeah.
And how long has it been?
2 years now.
Wow. So you actually started choreographing for her in the middle, I mean, at the height of a pandemic, during COVID.
Yeah.
And then obviously here you are today in Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, Angel, did you always want to be a dancer growing up? Is this something that you thought is going to be your career, your life?
No, actually no. When I was young, I wanted to be an electrical engineer, but then...
What? Here we are.
I was not doing so good at school. My friends used to tell me that you know how to dance, you can really dance. They used to love what I do. And then one day, I heard that there's a competition and you can win money. So I said, why not? If I can entertain people, I can win money. So yeah, that's it.
Of course. I mean, the fact that, you know, you were able to build yourself from not knowing what you want to do and just being told that you're a dancer to becoming one of East Africa, in fact, one of Africa's biggest female artists, becoming the official choreographer. That's a big deal. Your parents must be proud.
They're not here, but I'm sure they're so proud.
Oh, that's amazing. You know, your family, in terms of like your friends, you've got such supportive people around you, people who are encouraging you, people who are pushing you, people who are making you want to be the best version of yourself, right? What drives you? What makes you want to push harder? What is your driving force?
I've always, when I started dancing, I said, this is what I want to do. And I have to do it in the right way. And I have to succeed. So whenever I'm dancing, I just want to go far.
Far.
Yes,
you want
to... That's what keeps me
going. You want to be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, the best version of myself, and also to live that life everyone wish.
Yeah. Do you know, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because back in the day they used to say that dancers, dance can never be your main hustle. Dance can always be your side hustle, because you can be a doctor, you're an engineer, you know, you're a teacher, pale somewhere, you're doing something or the other, but then dance will always be secondary. But here you are with dance as your main source of income. How old are you, 21?
I'm turning 23 December.
23.
So I'm 22 now.
22, okay. At 22 years old, dance is your main income. You're traveling the world. What would you like to tell people who think that, dance, by the way, is not a good career?
Don't give up. Don't listen to anyone. For me, even my family didn't believe at first, but I let them believe, because I'm doing it in a right way.
In a big way?
In a big way, in a right way. So, kila siku wanakuwa proud of me. Sometimes nasaidia familia, so they support me a lot now. So, if you're there, you're dancing, don't stop, don't listen to anyone. If you know you're good, just keep on doing it.
Keep doing it.
Yeah.
How many countries have you been to, if I was to ask you? Do you remember?
I don't know, maybe 7, 8, I think. Yeah.
And you performed in these countries?
Yeah.
Wow. What's been your favorite performance that you can remember?
I would say Nigeria.
Okay, how was that vibe?
It was, you know, as East African, some of us, we believe that our music has a fiki international.
Yes.
When we went to perform a Swahili song, Nigeria, it was in... Watu walifurahi, it was crazy, walifurahia sana, kulikuwa kuna kina Yemi Arade there, and they were so happy that we performed very good. So actually nilipenda sana hiyo performance na kulikuwa kuna energy, a lot of energy on stage. So yeah.
You know, I was just telling some of your friends, I was like, when we see you, Angel, we don't expect you to dance like the way you do. You are explosive, you have so much energy, and it's like all of a sudden you just see this small body performing in a way that's larger than life. You know, you stand out. When people first see you, do they ever think that you can dance?
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't think.
And then you start and they're like, where?
Yeah, where did this come from?
How did that happen?
Yeah, but yeah.
Here you are, my girl. So Angel, tell me, if you win this award, what will you do? First thing.
I'll just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it?
Yeah, I'll just keep doing it. I want to achieve a lot of things, especially in the dance industry, because people are not, people use, watu walikuwa hawatuchukulia serious back then, but now I think we are doing a very great job, and kuwa recognizing this awards, big awards, I feel like we need to put a lot of work. And for me, if I win this award, I'm not going to let you down. I'll keep doing it, and I'll make sure I'll grow
even higher.
Yes.
Even higher. Do you know, it's really nice to see that you are somebody who is just so determined and so passionate and so focused on your career. You know, it's very rare to see a 22-year-old just knowing what they want to do and being like completely focused, like 100%. Back in Tanzania, is the dance community as big as it is here in Kenya? How is the community there for dancers?
Actually, we have a lot of talented dancers, but in Tanzania we don't have a lot of opportunities. The only opportunity we have is working with artists. So right now we are doing good. I would say we are doing good, not like 5 or 2 years back then. We have classes, but we don't have a lot of opportunities. But the industry is big. There's a lot of talented dancers there. Actually, myself, I'm building a community right now, and tunatumia jina Tanzania Dance, and I've taught more than 500 students.
Wow.
Yes, and now I have a lot of kids. I'm teaching a lot of kids. Yeah, and also I have other students that are taking my classes. If I'm not in Tanzania, they're the one teaching. So we are going there.
That's amazing. Angel, tell me, you know, I recently saw that you did like a collaboration, in fact, with a lot of Kenyan dancers, with Chiluba recently. You have another class on Sunday.
Yes.
And do you think here in Kenya, in terms of the dance scene and that hunger to learn dance, it's something that is very different from other countries?
Here?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of hardworking dancers here. There's a lot. And actually, there's a lot of classes. And I'm so happy when I see dancers attending classes.
Yes.
And there's a lot of classes and a lot of students.
Yes.
Like, kuna watu wengi wanaenda kwenye classes, wana join classes. Ukifika Tanzania, kuna watu wachache sana. Sidhani kama hata tunafika 10. But here,
what? 10 people only?
I don't think kama tunafika 10 tunafanya classes. I don't
even
think
your
so.
Classes?
Like I'm teaching classes. But watu wengine ambao wana build the same thing.
Not yet.
Yeah. Hatuko wengi like here. But here, I've seen a lot of dancers doing classes, and I've seen a lot of dancers doing a lot of
good things.
Good things, yes.
Let me ask you, Angel, when you first got social media famous, like when you went viral on Instagram, how did it happen? Did you post a video, or were you seen with Zuchu? What was that moment? Tell me.
Actually, there was this day I was, before I started working with Zuchu, I was working with another artist from Diamond's label, WSB. So Diamonds were there, and they were promoting this song, and he told us, you guys go there, I want to shoot you, so we can promote this song. So we were freestyling, and he recorded a video
of you,
and other dancers, and then posted on his Instagram. And people were asking, who is this girl? Who is
the girl?
And then he tagged me. That's how I got popular. That's how people knew. That's when I started getting interviews, and that's how I knew I had to do a lot of, like, I have to do more videos. I have to do more challenges like this.
Yeah, you have to keep doing it for people to keep remembering that, you know, you're a good dancer.
Yeah.
And you're here to stay and just support you.
Yeah.
Angel, okay, so you have YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You do dances. You are always on tour. You're choreographing for Zuchu. What next? What is the next step for you?
The next step is I'm trying to, actually, I want to create more opportunities for us, not only in Tanzania.
Yeah.
So right now I'm thinking about starting a dance battle. So I'm looking for sponsors, maybe any company come on inasikia right now.
Yeah.
We need sponsors. So I'm trying to do like these battles every month so dancers can earn money.
Online or?
No. Like, I want to start doing battles in Tanzania like every month.
Okay.
So tutakuwa tunapata mshindi and some mtu anashinda, like,
and they get some prizes and money.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking right now. And also maybe soon, maybe not soon, I want to have my own studio.
You have to. Oh wow, that's very ambitious, and it's very nice to know that at 22 you're already thinking way ahead of your age, which is amazing. Your peers, people your age back in Tanzania, like when they see your success and they're like, hey, Angel, by the way.
Actually, people, they don't believe if I'm 22.
That's true as
They
well.
always say I'm 28 or 27 something.
Because you're very mature.
Yeah,
you
think
behave in a very mature way.
I've been through a lot back then.
Yeah.
So I had to grow up.
Tell us some of your struggles back in the day.
Struggles. So when I finished Form 4, I decided not to continue with school. But I'm not telling you to stop studying now.
Yeah.
So I was living with my sister, and I'm a soma sana. So she was, it was so hard for her to let me do dance.
Yeah.
So tulikuwa tuna
fight.
Sometimes we used to live far, so sometimes I even went to stay on the street, like with those groups, like staying in a group with the men so I can dance. But thank God here I am now. So
that's amazing.
But I don't take it as a challenge. I think it was
part of your journey that has led to you to where you are today.
Nothing bad happened to me. Actually,
that's
nothing
amazing.
Bad. Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, I like how passionate you are about dance, because I feel like your success comes from your passion, right?
Yes.
And when people are passionate, good things happen to them, but also hard work.
Yeah.
Tell us about how hard it is to be a dancer, how many hours you put into your practice, you know, how many hours it takes you to come up with a routine, and like how many hours do you rehearse in a day? Like, how are your days like? Is it a lot of effort? Is it intense?
Okay, I used to practice a lot, like 5 years ago.
Okay.
I'm practicing right now, but not like 5 years ago.
Okay.
So as a dancer, if you're a dancer and you want to be a dancer, nitakushauri tu, you have to practice a lot, because I used to practice like 10 hours a day.
Wow.
Except for Sunday, but 10 hours a day I used to practice a lot with, sometimes actually me nimetokea kwenye kudance sana na boys. I was doing hip hop dancing, so it was so hard because I had to keep up with the speed, because unacheza na boys all the time.
I think that's where you've got your speed from, because when I watch you, you are fast, my girl. Your legs move.
Yeah, I used to love hip hop, so nilikuwa nikitrain na boys a lot.
Oh wow, okay.
So you have to practice. Like, you have to practice.
There's no easy way out.
No easy way.
You need to practice.
Until you got the flow, until you got the flexibility.
Yeah.
That's when you can maybe relax.
Take a break.
Yeah, take a break. Yeah. But now, for me to choreography, sometimes naweza tumia hata 10 minutes ama 30.
10?
Sometimes it can kusikiliza tu nyimbo na understand. Inaweza chukua 2 days ama 1 day. So it depends.
Wow.
It depends na what kind of dance I'm doing, a song I'm listening to. So yeah.
Oh, interesting. And your content, you know, all these videos that you put out there, do you have a team that works with you wherever you go? Do they travel with you? How does that work?
Actually now, I'm not traveling with anyone, but I hope soon
in one to
because now I'm just by myself. If I'm going to do classes, if I'm like in this Kenya, time in Kenya, ni mimi tu ndo nimeamua kuja, so I had to take care of most of things. So seriously,
I mean, you have friends, so you're
yes, okay. but still seriously beba watu wengine because
you can't, yes.
You know, hata kama I have friends, they can't take care of so many people.
For sure.
But I wish and I hope. I keep telling my people, you have to find passport, you have to work hard. So
that you can travel as well. Okay, interesting. So tell me, what's your favorite kind of dance, genre? Like, what is your favorite form of dance? Is it Afrobeats? Is it hip hop? Is it, what do you enjoy doing the most?
Honestly, I used to love hip hop like a lot, but then I came to understand that hip hop in Africa,
it's a struggle.
It's a struggle. So right now, let's say I love hip hop. I love Afro dance. Also, I'm a fan of dancehall, but then sijapata mtu wa kunitrain that much. But I love Afro dance, hip hop, and dancehall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How's it like working with Zuchu? How is she as a human being? How is she as a professional?
I would say she's a great person, and what I like about her most, she anataka group lake tukue pamoja, like she wants us to grow up together.
Girl tribe.
Yes. So every time, hata mimi nikiwa on tour or nimeenda kufanya anything, kama ana feel there's something anaweza aka-add up, ataniambia, you have to do this, you have to like brand yourself in this way. So and hata pia sometimes anawaambia hata ma dancers wenzangu like you have to do like Angel, or maybe you have to do more, be creative. So
that's amazing.
She's a very supportive girl.
Yeah, I've actually seen, your videos when you're on tour with her, how you guys are supporting each other. It's like a crew of girls and then her, and how you're like constantly rehearsing. And I'm sure like before she goes on stage, before she has a performance, you also have to put in hours of practice because you're teaching her a dance, right? So how does that go? Like, does it take hours? And like, before you go on stage, how are the behind the scenes?
Yeah, it actually takes hours, but working with artists, we have to let them do what they can do most.
Okay.
So if I'm creating my own choreography for my own class, it's gonna be hard. But if I'm working with Zuchu, I have to let her speak. Like, I want something like this, so nitatengeneza choreography anything anaweza akafanya.
So like something that's a bit like easier and more vibey.
Sometimes huwa nakuwa mkali if I like something and so namwambia tujaribu, tunakuwa na hizo ups and down, lakini tunakuja kutengeneza kitu.
That's amazing. Okay, so Angel, let me ask you, you've worked with Zuchu, you said you worked with someone else in the Wasafi label, right? Who else are you planning on working with? Like, who would you love to work with internationally, locally? Who are some dancers that you really want to dance with?
There's a lot of people. I can't choose.
I can't choose.
So anyone who is doing great
things.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite dancer internationally?
Internationally.
Out of Africa. Let's make it easier for you.
I love Paris Gobo.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yes.
Paris is amazing.
Yeah, I love her a lot.
Yeah, she's amazing. I agree. I love her dancing.
Yeah.
And in Africa?
In Africa, I can't choose.
It's too many.
It's too many. Yeah, there's a lot of great dancer in Africa.
Okay.
But uko international Paris, because anafanya working with brands, anakuwa na crew kubwa ya watu, and
it's like more than 60 to 70 people.
I used to watch, like even now, I watch her a lot.
She's amazing.
Yeah, amazing.
Okay, as we wrap up, what would you like to tell your fans, people who are watching out here, people, who really like to dance, and people who don't know what to do with themselves in terms of making dance a career? What advice would you like to give such people who are lost?
First of all, I would like to advise them that we have to put ourselves first. In anything, we have to value ourselves first. Right now, in the music industry, artists need us most. So naweza nikawaambia tujiamini, tujue tunataka nini, na to value kitu tunafanya, because this is hard and it's money. So out of out of being happy when you dance, unaweza make money. So tuwe serious. So huo ndo ushauri naweza nikawapatia dancers. And for my fans, waendelee kusupport. And this Sunday in Kenya, we have another class.
Yes. By the way, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Like, I have made plans to come. I'm going to dance. I'm going to be there to support you because I love your dancing.
Thank you so
and I
much.
think you are incredible.
I'm
such
sure
a
you're going
good
to.
human being and just such good vibes. So, you know, everything that comes your way, you deserve it. And I want you to win that award. It's yours.
Amen. Thank you.
Right?
Amen.
Koljax, are we ready? Yeah, we're ready? Okay, one last dance.
Yes.
Before we say bye-bye.
Yeah.
Sawa?
Sawa.
Okay, let's go. Angel. Absolutely unbelievable. Like, I'm feeling tired just watching her. How does she do that? That leg work. Where? You're making me sweat. Thank you so much for coming on the show, on my hot seat. I enjoyed having you. You know, you are incredible, as I said earlier on. Good luck with your future. Good luck with your journey in the dance industry. Keep it up and keep making us all smile with your moves.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Koljax, up next with Disco Funk. That's it from me today. Next week, same time, same place, right here on Easy Friday. We'll do the same thing again, only on KBC Channel 1. Good night.
Kupata skiza tune ya mambo mema, dial *811*